Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comments section. Please like and share the video as well. Going to be talking Impact Wrestling for you today, and Slammiversary is coming up this Saturday, July 18th. It's the predictions video. Going to go through all the matches, give my picks for the show. Going to be giving a little bit of fantasy booking where appropriate and give my thoughts on those matches put together as well. And don't worry, I'm going to be talking about those all-important potential debuts and returns, which will be coming from the WWE releases or from elsewhere. All will be revealed, from my opinion, in this video. Of course, you can also go and check out my 10 ideas of what I had for potential ways that superstars could return or debut in Impact Wrestling. That video is already on YouTube. Should be coming up as a little card now for you on your screen. If not, go and check it out as well. It will be coming up at the end of the video, and you can also go and check that. But do stick around and look at this first. The chapters feature is featured on this as well. So if there's one match you want to talk about or know about more than the others, then check on the times in the description, and you should be able to see where to fast forward in the chapters. So that's enough of me talking in the intro. Let's get straight into our first match, and what a fun match to talk about to begin with as well. The Impact Tag Team Championships. The North, who've held the belts now for more than a calendar year, going to be taking on the unique team of Sami Calihan and Ken Shamrock. Now, for me, this has gone two ways. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of the North. They're one of my favourite tag teams in all of wrestling. Doesn't matter what the promotion. I think these guys are innovative. They've got some great offense, and they've been great tag team champions as well. It's almost a shame, really, that some of the tag teams have sort of had to face repetitively over the last calendar year, but they've always made great matches, always been a fun watch, and it's good to see that here they're going to be taking on two arguably single stars as main eventers, which usually I'm not a fan of a mishmash tag team, but in this I've kind of got some intrigue. What's going to happen here? I feel that we're kind of building to a picture. We've had rivals earlier this year in Sami Calihan with his new sort of ICU gimmick going on, and we've got Ken Shamrock, of course, who's in his 50s, but you know what, he's in incredible shape for his age, and to see these two, they've had some great matches, as I say, throughout the year. I think we could be building towards another one at Bound for Glory, if I'm being brutally honest, but the question mark is here, is does the North retain, and they have hopefully some new tag teams to go against for some ideas. We could get perhaps Anderson and Doc Gallows come out at the end of the match and could spark an idea of a great tag team match going forward. It's a match I want to see for those Impact Tag Team Championships at some point down the road. Maybe we could get Mack, which I believe was Zack Ryder, if I've said that right, and as well Brian Myers, I believe was his real name as well before when he was in Impact. Of course, that was Kurt Hawkins. Maybe they could make some sort of return. Maybe Heath Slater teams up with Rhino. Who knows? There's potentials that the tag team division could be a lot stronger and fresher for the North to continue as champions after this. But I do wonder, if I was thinking like Don Callis or maybe Scott D'Amore, I'm wondering if they're thinking of this mishmash tag team of Calihan and Shamrock, of maybe people will be guessing, what will these two do next? Will there be an excitement? Will there be some freshness in that tag team championship? Seeing it around new wastes and also seeing it against these guys who are two arguably main eventers, but a real crazy combination. And I kind of feel like it could be like a Rock and Sock connection from the Attitude Era, maybe an X-Pac and Kane. These are real two guys that don't seem to go together, who I think naturally at some stage will go back to being rivals, perhaps, as I say, at Bound for Glory. But I just wonder, I have this feeling they're going to win the gold. So I'm going to put a prediction out for Ken Shamrock and Sami Calihan to become the Impact Tag Team Champions. But I will be honest with you, I will be rooting for the North. I want to see them continue on because I prefer tag teams to be tag team champions. It's just something I've always been a fan of and would prefer to see that, especially when there could be some new teams in the mix. But I will say there is a potential we could see perhaps Calihan turn on Shamrock. It was teased this past week on Impact Wrestling where we had the story of the Frog and the Scorpion, Calihan being the Scorpion and of course stinging the frog because that's what a scorpion does. So there is a potential that could happen, but do you want to do it on the first match or would you want to see the implode somewhere down the line? I've got a feeling that the D'Amore and Callis would prefer to see us fans intrigued of when it will happen down the line and not just do it on night one. So I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm saying we're getting new tag team champions. Next, going to be talking about the Impact X Division Championship. Going to be talking about Willie Mack, the champion, going to be defending against Chris Bay. I'm really looking forward to this match. I think these are the two top X Division wrestlers right now in the company. I know we've got some X Division wrestlers up in the main event scene right now, but I really think that we've got the best two here, partnership in a match here. I think it's going to be absolute gold at Slammiversary. I think these two can put on a hell of a show. Chris Bay, since coming in, has done an incredible job. Has got himself well over as a heel. I love the combination he's had with Johnny Swinger. Swinger is entertaining, isn't he? He's just got a way of his old school gimmick, which I must admit, I wasn't really a fan when Johnny Swinger was brought back into Impact Wrestling, but to tell you what, he's done a great job. He's been entertaining throughout, and I really think that this partnership has been very interesting as we've gone into the event, and it's been clear that Chris Bay has been using Johnny Swinger going into this match, but Johnny Swinger has got ear of it at the last minute, which is very interesting as well, because Chris Bay, of course, was having a discussion where Johnny Swinger couldn't be at ringside for the match. Johnny Swinger tried being Suicide, dressed up as him, thought that would be a way to do it, and then he said he's going to have a talk with the referees and see if he can get himself back in ringside for the match at Slammiversary. He did that, he got his way, but on the way back to telling Chris Bay, that very sort of happy face that we get with the swing man, he overheard Chris Bay when flirting that he was using Johnny Swinger, and that he was getting Swinger to get his hands dirty so that Chris Bay could go in clean into the pay-per-view and walk away the X Division champion. Of course, that wasn't the end of it there. Johnny Swinger turned around and saying that, well, no, I couldn't turn the decision. You're on your own. It just implies now we've got a full one-on-one match here, but I do wonder if it will stay that way at the pay-per-view. There's many different options of the way this match could go. I kind of hope in one way that we get no interference, because I think it's a great match with these two anyway. It doesn't need the outside interference, but is there a way where this is almost like a swerve where we don't see it coming and Swinger all along kind of knows his role and plays for Chris Bay anyway, and the cameras have just fooled us? Maybe there's an opportunity that Johnny Swinger wants to get the Pack and Mack connection together once again, and he actually defends Willie Mack in the match, so Willie Mack retains. Could there be a combination as well, which I think would be always typical Johnny Swinger, if he wanted to come out and cost Chris Bay, but actually inadvertently cost Willie Mack in the process, and then we see that Chris Bay thinks that actually that Johnny Swinger's done this on purpose and could throw more questions than answers. I think that would be a fun fantasy booking way to go with it. I don't know the situation with Rich Swann. I do wonder when he's going to come back, because it would be a surprise return to see him turn up at the pay-per-view and be in the corner of Willie Mack. Would it be interesting to see them two have a rivalry somewhere down the road? I certainly would love to see it, but I wouldn't want to see him turn on Willie Mack in the instant. I'd want to see them go for the tag team championship, so that would be another team if Swann was to come back at some stage. But to make a prediction in this match, I do think Willie Mack is going to retain. I do think Chris Bay is doing a great job, and I do think he'll be a great X Division champion, but Willie Mack's not had the belt for very long. And even though you would turn around and say here that Willie Mack seems to have the advantage going into the pay-per-view, I wouldn't be surprised to see Swinger come in and accidentally cost Willie Mack the championship. I think that would be my favourite way for them to go, but to make a prediction, I don't know if that's the booking standpoint. I could see Willie Mack actually becoming the winner here, and we could maybe see a debut afterwards. Maybe would be interested to see one of those faces. What if Leo Rush was to turn up and stand on the entranceway, and we know then we've got a new program waiting to go forward in the X Division? That would be very fascinating to see. I don't know if it will happen. I'm not going to predict that to happen, but I will give my prediction at the end of the video, which releases that I do think will be turning up in Impact Wrestling. Next, let's talk about the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Moose versus Tommy Dreamer. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a bit lackluster with this. Now, Moose has done a great job bringing back this TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Not currently recognised as a World Heavyweight Championship, but nonetheless, it's being defended here. Tommy Dreamer wants to bin it. He wants to get rid of it if he wins the championship here, which I'm not in favour of. I want to see this championship come back. I've said many times, I want to see Moose lead a stable. I want to see a TNA versus Impact Wrestling, a promotional stable versus stable kind of vibe. It could be like the Nexus, it could be like NWO, it could be whatever you want it to be, but I want to see TNA try and take over Impact Wrestling and get their old glory back and being the part of the company that's run going forward. I think it'll be a fascinating storyline to see. As for the match at hand of what we've got, I've seen this Tommy Dreamer promo so many times where he gets emotional and you really get the feelings, and don't get me wrong, it's a great promo. Tommy Dreamer, if you're listening, I'm sure he's not, does a great promo, but when it's done every single time, for every single match, for every single build, for me, I just feel I've seen it and I want to see it used when it's at its most important. So for me, I this time didn't connect with it as well as I wanted to. It's old school rules as well, which I'm sure means the toys are coming out to play. It's the best way to have a Tommy Dreamer match, in my opinion, at this point in 2020. But I just feel that Moose, at this point, I feel like Moose should be towards the main event. This, for me, brings it right down to the mid, even to the undercard of the show. So for me, it kind of flattens it a little bit, and I want to see Moose go on and do something better. In fact, I would have loved to see it as a fantasy booking idea. I'd have loved to see this be an open challenge. Moose to say, I want to take on a former TNA champion, maybe a TNA original, and you see someone like Eric Young come back. I think that would have been a great way. And I'm not to say that someone wouldn't come back at the end of the match, but at the same time, that's the way I would have liked to have gone. As for a prediction, I've got to go for Moose. I don't see it going any other way. Moose shouldn't be losing. I think he's done a great job with the belt so far. I think that this at the moment could be like a starting point after this, where this sort of championship being brought back in storyline terms could get really good. I'm really excited to see what's going to come out from the fallout of this. But like I say, for the match itself, I'm a bit lackluster. But as a final prediction, I'm going for Moose. Next, let's talk about the Knockouts Gauntlet match, where the winner will get a #1 contendership towards the Knockouts Championship. We've got so many women involved in this. I believe we've got 11 announced so far. We've got Nevaeh, we've got Havok, we've got Rosemary, Taya Valkayrie, Susie, Kylie Rae, we've got Madison Rayne, we've got Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz, Alicia Edwards, and Kimberly. So we've got lots of different women here that will be involved in this match. I'm going to give a bit of fancy booking of how I'd like to see this match go before I give my full result for it, because I think in my head I've got a good idea of how I think this should be booked, but I think there's so many different potentials of winners we could have, and also the fact that we've got 11 people, I wonder if there's going to be 12. We must have one surprise entrant. I do feel I remember hearing Josh Matthews say that we've got 99% of this book, so it'd be interesting to see if there is a surprise entrant or not. But for my surprise booking, I might even go with the unlucky number 13. We'll have to wait and see as this goes through. But here's my fancy booking first, and we'll go with the prediction second. So I would start off the match with Kimberly, and I would then also get Tasha Steelz in there for the first two, and just go through as we normally would, as any good gauntlet match would go. As we get to entry number 3, I'd bring out Kiera Hogan. Let's bring out and showcase the tag team division that we are strongly being teased now. Will we get Knockouts Tag Team Championships back in Impact Wrestling? I really hope so somewhere down the line. But I reckon that we could start off with these two ladies, Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, dominating the field. I could see them eliminating Kimberly. I could see Alicia Edwards coming out as number 4, but no, she cannot overcome the tag team and the great friendship that's come with Tasha and Kiera. Number 5, we could get Havok to come out, because we haven't got so long in this. It's not like we've got a 30-person Royal Rumble match where we have time to really build it. But we can get Havok out, who's recently had a great tag team with Nevaeh starting, and she could be number 6, because of course the ladies can't actually get rid of Havok. She's obviously a much stronger and bigger athlete to throw over the top rope, and Nevaeh can come out, and then we've got 2 teams in the ring at the same time, which will be very interesting. And we could also see the eliminations of Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz at this point. And of course, with Havok and Nevaeh being faces at this point, they would have no problem facing each other, I would say, going forward. We could get to entry number 7, and we need then perhaps one of the bigger names to come out here, someone that wouldn't be eliminated so easily. And I reckon someone like Taya Valkayrie would be a good fit for this. I'd have Kylie Rae as number 8 to come out there. I think that she would be a good spot for there. And I think number 9 should be our surprise entrant. I'm going to stick my neck out. I've said it many times. I've even commented on her Twitter many times saying that I hope she turns up at Slammiversary, and that is Tanara Conti. I reckon that she has been released by NXT, and I'm going to put a prediction out that she will be in the Gauntlet match. And I think she'll have a good showing as well. If someone is going to turn up, they need to have a good showing, even if they do not win. It doesn't really matter from this point onwards here of what entrants do come out. At number 10, perhaps we could have Rosemary. I'd like to see Madison Rayne come in actually before the mystery entrant, just purely because of the fact that Madison Rayne this week was actually showboating a lot this week, that she had not had to do any of the hard work in the ring with a 10-woman tag. She could just walk in, and she's the one that's fresh, and she's the one that can take people out. And then it would be interesting if the new person could come in, who's also fresh, who could just eliminate Madison Rayne. It would make a nice natural feud going forward, wouldn't it? So maybe we could have Madison Rayne as number 9, and actually Tanara Conti, if that was the mystery person, number 10. And like I say, we have the last couple come into the ring there. Susie, I'd like to see come into the ring towards the finish, but I'd like to see, Susie is having this problem, you see. She is being almost a bit schizophrenia to the point. Are we going to see Su Yung come back in at some point? I would like to see her come in, thrown out, and just go nuts, go crazy, not happy, almost sobbing, crying, going to the back. And I want us to get to near the finish of the match. And as we get to near the finish of the match, people being thrown over the top rope. Havok, of course, needs the traditional, a few people to get her over the top rope. Classic what you do with the biggest person in the match. We could get where Taya and Rosemary, we're sort of starting to build a break with these two, where one throws the other over the top rope. It would be interesting to see which way it would be most interesting. I think Rosemary to one to turn here, because she's the one that we know deep down has not got that partnership with Taya Valkayrie, really of the best interests at heart here at this moment. She's just doing this for Johnny Bravo. It would be interesting if she was the one to throw Taya over the top rope. I'd like to see Kylie to the point where she's going to get the victory, and then we hear that there's actually one more entrant, and Su Yung makes her return, to the point that it cracks so much because of the fact that if Susie is in the match earlier, leaves the match, has time to perhaps sort the face work out, because let's be fair, that's not done very quickly, and maybe she can make an entrance into the ring and she could pick up the victory, eliminating what's meant to be her friend at the end of the match and become the #1 contender. That's the way I would book it. Is it the way I think it's going to go? I'm not so sure, but I really think literally anyone could walk out here. The mystery person is always a potential, and there's always an intrigue, and it's always an obvious one that you want to predict, but I'm not going to go down that road, because I think when we talk later in the video, I think it would self-explain why you can't have a mystery person going over so many times in one night. So I'm going to stick my neck out, and I do feel it has been a while since Rosemary has become a #1 contender, has gone for the championship. I think Kylie Rae would be a good shout as well, but she was actually the one standing tall of the 10 women this past week on Impact. So that usually is a telltale sign that they're not going to win at the pay-per-view. So she would have been my pick, but she's not anymore. I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to go with Rosemary, because I think that her and Taya can continue having their little relationship going forward, if you want, with Johnny Bravo, and they can put the Knockouts Championship into that storyline as well. It would be interesting. I don't really remember Jordynne Grace against Rosemary as well. Taya can get very jealous. I think there's some good taste and variables that we can go with this. So that's going to be my prediction for the Knockouts Gauntlet match. But I did like my fantasy booking idea, and if in the dream world, I'd love to see Su Yung return, because I think Su Yung is such an amazing character, and I think that she would be destined to be back in the championship picture. Nothing against Susie, but Susie for me, I just see her as a jobber. Every time she comes out, it just doesn't work for me. I want Su Yung back. So I would love to see that happen. But I'm going to go for a darker character anyway. I'm going to pick Rosemary to be the victor. Let's next talk about Jordynne Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship. My favourite match for this event. I really wish it was the main event. It's not going to be, but the style clash of the powerhouse of Jordynne Grace against the technician of the virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo has been so well put together. And I think Deonna Purrazzo is such a great technician. She's such a great wrestler. And I really feel that in this time when she's in Impact, she is going to go all the way to the top. I really think that these two women are going to steal the show. I love the way that this has been put together so nicely with Deonna Purrazzo as coming. She's picked her spot. She's took a shot every single opportunity. They've even had where both of them have been on Busted Radio, having it out with each other. We've got to the point where Deonna wouldn't show up when Jordynne Grace was competing, said you're going to have to wait to Slammiversary to face me. And then we get to the point we get a contract signing this week where Jordynne Grace actually manages to get her hands on Deonna Purrazzo, but there was a quick escape. I generally feel that this match could go either way. I do wonder if it's slightly too soon for Deonna Purrazzo to become Knockouts champion, but then I kind of feel that at the same time, as I say, Jordynne Grace got the last kick in, and I do usually feel that when we get to pay-per-views, that doesn't mean that the person that had the upper hand going in doesn't usually walk away the victor. I'm going to stick my neck out, and even though she's a brand new knockout, I think Deonna Purrazzo is going to walk away here the Knockouts champion. I really do, because Jordynne Grace has had the belt for a little while. I think that Deonna Purrazzo would do a great job with the belt. They could do perhaps a rematch somewhere down the line. Rosemary technically is a tweener at the moment. She could face either if my prediction there was correct. And I do think if Su Yung was to win it, it would be more better if Jordynne Grace was to retain. So I'm going to stick my neck out. I think Deonna Purrazzo is going to walk away the champion. I think she's going to find a way. I think a great way of booking this would be to have a great technical match, technique versus power, and just to really break that technique at the end, find a small way to cheat, become the champion, and then find a way for the rematch. I think that would be an awesome way to do it. But I'm looking forward to seeing these two go at it. It's the match I'm most looking forward to at Slammiversary. So I'm going to stick my neck out, and I'm going to say Deonna Purrazzo there. Last but not least, on the matches, it's the Vacant Impact Wrestling World Championship. Now, let's be fair, they've had a bad hand dealt to them on the creative here because, of course, Tessa Blanchard was fired and stripped of the championship for, not being able to be there or not willing to be there. Of course, Michael Elgin's ties were cut with the company as well. So it left us from a 5-way to a 3-way. We had Eddie Edwards, we had Ace Austin, and we had Trey of the Rascals. And you look at this and say now that they've added a mystery opponent to this match. So we've got some flair back into it now because now we know that someone who perhaps was a former champion, maybe someone that's debuting, someone that they see could be a main eventer in Impact Wrestling is going to be coming in. And one place that needs addressing on the Impact roster for me is the main event area. So I'm very intrigued to see where and how this is going to go. There is a potential, many names could be coming in here. We could have, say, like The Miracle, Mike Bennett could return. Eric Young, if he's not earlier in the evening, could come here. EC3 is one I want to see. And also, we've not even spoke about the idea of like Bully Ray and the Aces and Eights. So there's lots of different ideas of what could happen, might not happen. Why not Rowan, who maybe has a new name, maybe coming in. He'll be available as well. There's lots of different ideas of superstars that could come in. I'm going to stick my neck out and say for the mystery opponent, I'm putting it down to one of two names. Now, this has been recorded before Dynamite's Fight to the Fallen. So if one of these turns up on Dynamite tonight, then we're going to have to just say, well, hang on, it's the other one. But I always felt EC3 would be the guy. I think he'd be the right choice because he's of the right age to go in there, to come back, to carry that company. I think the trouble music as well would go down really well with everyone at home singing along. And I'd really like to see him back in Impact Wrestling. I just think it would be a natural fit. It would be that he would be coming home to the place where he was doing his best work to do his best work once again. But on the other hand, I think the other likely one, and I'm sticking for two predictions of this, like I say, purely because of Dynamite, and I'll give my favourite at the end here. Bully Ray, I think, is someone that's a safe pair of hands, not someone I think will go to AEW, someone that I think will come into Impact Wrestling. If Aces and Eights is going to be a thing again, then why not bring it back in, start at the top, really make something happen. I think it would be interesting, it would be exciting, and yeah, I think it would get some old school Impact fans back in that were interested during the days of Aces and Eights. So those are my two that I think it's going to be one or the other. I'm going to say Bully Ray because of the fact I want to make the safe prediction because I'm not sure if EC3 will turn up on Dynamite Fight for the Fallen or not. If that was a show that was out of the way, potentially EC3 would be my first choice. But because of the fact I'm not sure on that and we're not there yet, I'm going to go for Bully Ray because as well, the Aces and Eights thing would be quite interesting. But let's go into the portion of which releases I think will be coming in. I do think that the Aces and Eights will come in. If it's at the end of the show or via this match. It would be interesting to see if there would be a beatdown at the end of the show, a new champion crowned, and then you saw the Aces and Eights come in under perhaps Bully Ray, D'Lo just leading the charge, and we had the likes of Gallows and Anderson as part of that stable to kick it off. I think it would be very interesting. To just quickly go back onto the championship match, just to talk about the other competitors, I feel like I've just completely blanked them and left them out. Eddie Edwards is a safe pair of hands. I would be happy for him to win that championship, but I just don't think it's the right time at this particular moment for Eddie Edwards to be back carrying the flag for Impact Wrestling. Ace Austin, he's got Madman Fulton now in his corner. Ace Austin has been doing great work. Yes, he wasn't even booked on Slammiversary last year. He's in the championship match this year. Fair play to him. He's done well. He's built himself well up the card. I just think, even though we've got the Shawn Michaels and Diesel relationship started here, it's just too soon for me for him to be Impact champion. I just wouldn't see it at this point. Even though he'd be the youngest, I think it would show. I want to see another 6 months with this partnership with these two going forward. Ace Austin back in the mix then, and maybe then I think it would work for him to become champion. Trey, I feel very sorry for Trey Miguel. Even though storyline-wise it makes sense that he's here because we've had, obviously, the last pay-per-view match didn't happen with Eddie Edwards, and of course Ace Austin won the tournament. Trey was ruled out of the tournament as well with the Who Attacked Trey stuff. It's great to see him here. It's a great spot for him, but I just don't see it as a long-term option, and I'm very sorry to say that for Trey. For me, it wouldn't be right if he was to walk away Impact champion. The Rascals gimmick as well. For me, it's not something that screams main event. It's mid to lower card kind of gimmick. So I want to see Trey elevated more before I see him in this sort of role after Slammiversary, and as a personal opinion, because I think Trey's got the tools there, but for me, he's just nowhere near ready for this spot at this time, in my personal opinion. So back to the releases then. Let's talk about who I think will be coming. We talked about potentially the mystery kind of partner or opponent for those guys in the main event, and I said it could be EC3 or it could be Bully Ray. Like I say, aces and eights, I think it will happen. So I say Bully Ray. I do say we'll get Doc Gallows and we'll get Carl Anderson involved with Impact Wrestling. As other ones to come in, I'd love EC3 to be there. I think it's a potential. If he's not on Fight for the Fallen, he will be at Slammiversary, in my opinion. I'm going to go as well for Eric Young. I think it's a nail on, he'll come back. I think Mike Kanellis will come back. I think that's going to happen. I'd like to see that happen. I think I'll be very happy to see him back in. He did actually come in with and brought Moose in when Moose first came in, so it'd be interesting to see maybe if he could protect Moose. Maybe it could be an idea to bring him in, just as a nice little fantasy booking idea to bring him back into storylines. I mentioned Tanara Conti as well for the Gauntlet match, so we'll say her as well. And I do think Heath Slater will be coming in as well. I think that one feels like a safe bet. Where we'll be teaming with Rhino to begin with for the tag team division. Maybe he might turn on Rhino. We'll have to wait and see, but I certainly could see him coming in. Ones that I'd like to see, but I'm not going to predict to happen. I don't see it necessarily. I would love to see Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins come in. I'd love to see them as a partnership in there. I think they could offer a lot to Impact Wrestling. I'd love to see Miro as well. Of course, that was Rusev, but of course Rusev did come down with COVID-19, so I don't think if he does come in, I don't think he's making his debut on this particular show. And I would love to see Rowan, but again, I'm not sure if that will happen or not. Leo Rush, I think, would be great for the X Division, but those last few names, as much as I'd love to see him there, they could very well show up, but I'm not going to put a prediction out that they will at this stage. But that's everything anyway for Slammiversary. It's been quite a lengthy video, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it anyway. Let me know your thoughts for the show, what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to appear of the releases, who you think is going to win the matches in the comments below. Do let me know right now. I hope you enjoyed the show this week. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I think it's been one of the best, well-built, unpredictable shows for a long time. Literally, I am so excited. I think a lot of matches could go either way. I think that we've been teased very well on people that could be coming in that may or may not turn up, and I think it's helped a lot as well with having ideas and just fresh fantasy booking ideas of what could happen at this show, because literally there's so many different things you could do and all would be fantastic. So I've got a lot of excitement for this show, and I hope you guys do as well. If you want to see some ideas of what I think would bring some interesting viewing for Impact Wrestling, I've got 10 ideas for WWE releases to make their debuts and return at Impact Wrestling's Slammiversary video available for you now, so go and check that out. I do think some of them are some great ideas as well. Whether they'll go down that road, we'll have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts anyway. Please like, share and subscribe. Do spread the word to a friend as well. Let all your Impact Wrestling fans on Friends know that this video is there, because it's the only way the channel does grow. We're closing in on the magic 500 subscribers. Would love to hit that milestone. It would be great if it could happen. So please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I will keep doing some Impact Wrestling videos, because I think right now it's such an exciting promotion at this particular moment, and I think that there is a lot that could happen going forward. So I want to be here on the journey, and I've done videos for Impact Wrestling for quite a few years, but I want to do more consistent videos for them going forward. But that's all from anyway. Thank you for watching, and this has been the Slammiversary video. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time here on SCW. Take care.